Good evening. Welcome to Voice of the Parrot. I'm your host, Shasta Ray, and I am joined in the studio by the giant dog and Zoltan, the podcast bird. This is just a very quick drive-by kind of episode this week. I'm not really in the mood to podcast. This is a tribute to MicroDog. Night before last, she decided it was her last night with me. She had some kind of incredibly rapid kidney shutdown, and she was gone by about 6:20 Sunday morning. And she was just shy of 13 years. I'd had her 11 and a half of those 13 years. She was with me almost every day of those 11 and a half years. And I'll be very honest, for such a tiny, tiny little dog, I didn't realize how enormous of a presence she had in my day-to-day life. And Giant Dog was her good friend, and Zoltan was her good friend. Zoltan would ride her like a horse every very rare once in a while. She was really gentle with all the birds. She never chased them. She never tried to snap at them or anything. She would sit there and watch them, and she loved to sleep in the bird room and listen to him chirp all day. Losing her was a huge, huge shock. But the last time I had like a traditional episode here, I talked about what happens if something happens to you, what happens to your pets. What happens when you're not ready to lose a pet? Spend time with your animals. I was with her pretty much every day for 11 and a half years, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I would do another 11 and a half in a heartbeat with that little dog. But as I reschedule my life to work around the big hole that she left, I'm going to just leave this episode by saying, go play with your birds. Go walk your dog. Go play with your cat. Whatever animal you have, go spend time with it. Don't take its presence in your life for granted. They are amazing, amazing little friends. The one really strange thing is Murray the cockatiel does not like either of the dogs, and he always hissed at him. MicroDog, her name was Uno, because she was just one little dog. She came with me upstairs every day when it was time to get Murray out of his cage, start the day with him. And she'd just follow and sit there and watch. Sometimes when I was cleaning cages or cleaning up after the birds or feeding them or whatever I was doing, she would sit there and be part of it. And even so, Murray would always hiss at her. Up until Saturday. Saturday was the only day that Murray sat there and Una was by my side, and they just sat and looked at each other, and he didn't hiss at her, and he didn't try to fly away from her, and he wasn't scared of her. It was the first time. Maybe he sensed something. I don't know. But after I got him out of his cage Sunday morning, that bird has not left my side. He has been adhered to me to a level I can't even describe, so I know that he senses it. I know he knows. I know that he was aware of the situation as it was going on. So, your birds are pretty intuitive, and they're pretty special. They're pretty amazing friends. Your dogs, your cats, same thing. Don't take them for granted. Get to know them. If you just have them in the house because they're fun to have around, get to know them. Learn them. Spend time with them. Give them a part of you. Let them have that. That's the best gift that you can give any animal. I'm really proud to have been that little dog's caretaker for as long as I was. She came from a very, very, very difficult, neglective first 3 homes. And I was her 4th, and I promised her she would never have a 5th. And I promised her, stay with me, but when it's time for you to go, that's okay too, but I'll take care of you until it's your time. And I saw it coming. I saw her age coming, but she was still running around like a puppy, and she didn't give any signs of illness, nothing. So this has been a complete shock. Spend time with your animals. Go hang out with them. Make every day count with them. Even when they're being ornery and getting on your nerves and things aren't going your way. I can't tell you how many times over the past 11 and a half years I wanted to get really angry at that little dog because she would just get under my feet to the point I was so afraid I would end up accidentally hurting her because she is so little. But I was also worried I would myself get hurt in an effort to not hurt her. Yet she never learned, and she was always under my feet, even up till a few days ago. And the past year, the difference was that I told myself it wasn't fair to get angry with her, and it wasn't fair for me to get frustrated with her, because the only reason she's up under my feet like that is because she wants to be close to me and she loves me. So when your pets are being irritating and they're getting on your nerves, and they're doing those weird things that they all do, take a look at the situation. Are they doing it because they want to be close to you? Probably. They want to be up in your business and see what you're doing and be part of your life. So let them. You won't regret it. As for Uno, she came into this life somewhere, by my calculations, around January of 2011. So she was just a little shy of 13 years. I'm going to get this out in your eardrums. I'm going to go hang with the birds. I'm going to hang with my dog. I just want to remind you that every life is very, very precious. And if it's a little bird or a little four-legged animal, they rely on you completely and totally for their happiness and their care and their health and their well-being and their protection. Make every day count with them. Give yourself to them. They love you. Spend time with them. If it's irritating to have that bird out of its cage, or it's a little bit of a hassle to do this or that, it's worth it. Stop what you're doing, stop the human stuff, and give a little bit more to your animals. Because once they're gone, oh my gosh, you will realize how special they were. I always knew how special that little dog was, and I always loved having her by my side and taking her for a ride in the car and go do stuff and feeding her and bundling her up in the winter time. She loved to wear her little coats and jackets when she would go out. I don't know what I'm going to do without that little dog. She was such a big part of every day, and I still don't think I got enough time with her. I feel like I got shortchanged. And if you're having times of stress, times of anxiety, times where you're not yourself, they are some of the best friends that you can lean on during those times, because they are going to love you unconditionally. And that's what that little dog did for me. She was with me through all kinds of things in my life. All kinds of stress, health issues. She took care of me when I was down. I took care of her, and it still wasn't enough. Just a little tribute to one little dog out there in the world with maybe a really big message. Some of your best friends are right under your nose. They are the most loyal friends you will ever know in your entire life, and they're the ones that we tend to diss the most often. I don't feel like I did that to Uno, but I know that animals tend to get the short end of us. Don't let yours have the short end of you. Go hang out with them. Turn off your computer, turn off YouTube, turn off Facebook, get off of Instagram, go hang out with your real friends. Find something to do. Rest in peace, my little doggy. I'm gonna miss you so much. The podcast studio is just not gonna be the same without you. But for what it's worth, Rex will try to fill your shoes for as long as he possibly can, and of course, Zoltan's always gonna miss you too. That's all I got for you this week, everyone. I'm sorry it was a little bit more somber. Have a great week, everyone. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.